Hi, everyone. Happy Winning Wednesday. It's Sonia and
Jeannie, hello everyone.
hello. It is another Wednesday. We are here. We're super pumped to be with you guys today. And we've got a really, I think, exciting topic, and that is all about gut health, but not just about gut health and take your probiotics and all of that, gut health strategies to help you age gracefully. Because when we talk about gut health, we're not talking to a 25-year-old. We're talking about some of the real things that happen, especially to women over 40, when like your whole life is going sideways. And so we're going to talk about some pretty good stuff, some new stuff that may or may not have been something you've heard before, and just really all of these pieces will fit together. So our hope for you is at the end of this conversation, you have some strategies to help you improve your gut health, but also the understanding of what's happening and why you might be experiencing some of the things that you're experiencing, and maybe even a few key products that will help you through this time. Somebody said to me earlier on TikTok, on one of the videos that I made, they said, "Why is everybody against aging?" And I said, "It has nothing to do with being against aging. We have no choice." Right? I mean, if I don't think anyone's created the magic pill yet that says if you take this pill, you're never going to age, right? We're just here to help you evolve and change and age gracefully, as I always say, like fine wine instead of like spoiled milk, right?
Mhm.
If you would rather be the spoiled milk, then that's your choice. But the things that we talk about are not things that are going to give you spoiled milk results. They're going to give you fine wine results, right, Jeannie?
Right. Yes, I love
I
it.
love it. Okay, so if you guys are here live, we're live on all platforms here. So go ahead and let us know that you're here. Say hi. Let us know what time you're seeing this video if you're on the replay and what platform you're watching from. Drop that down in the comments below. So, all right, so let's get into the goods, Jeannie. I
Yeah.
love this conversation. This was actually your idea. So let's tap into it a little bit more. So, what are some of the things that we're going to talk about as it relates to gut health over 40?
We are going to talk. Number one, if I'm always going to harp on it, stress,
Mhm.
as we age, like we are not as resilient in responding to stress because of our low estrogen levels. And that impacts our gut. Inflammation in all types of ways impacts our gut, whether it's chronic disease. As we get older, we're more predisposed for heart disease, diabetes, like the list goes on and on and on. And so if we can help our body reduce the inflammation, and really like rebuild the gut so that it's nice and healthy and thriving, you're better able to fight off disease because it helps with your immune system, and you're better off in like really stabilizing your blood sugars and all those things that you need to have in balance so that we can really just thrive and not have we will have a lower risk of all of these diseases. So it's not like if you have good gut health, you're not going to have any disease, but it's more of reducing your risk of it.
Yeah, spot on. Because, here's the thing, most people don't know this, although it's talked about more and more these days, is that over 70% of your immune system is found in your gut. And your gut is also greatly connected to your brain, right? And your brain and your nervous system, it all works together. So if you're under a lot of stress, I mean, I'll give you guys an example. I have not been quiet about my journey and experience with, being exposed to toxic mold. One of the things that mold toxins do is they put a lot of physical and emotional mental stress on the body. Sometimes you don't even realize it, but that process itself affects your gut in a major way, and it affects your nervous system. And so a lot of times we think, oh, gut, what food should I eat? Right. And food is important, but it's not the whole picture. It's not just food and supplements, guys. There's a lot to this picture. Controlling your stress is a huge part of it. So, Jeannie, what are 3 things people can do to better manage their stress? Just give us a quick 3 little nuggets.
Sure. So, I mean, there's a huge list of things you can do. I would say number one is really find something you enjoy. It's just like when I used to talk to people about exercise, you just don't want to pick something that everybody else is doing and they say it works. You have to find what you really enjoy that you can stick to on a consistent basis. So, number one, meditation, like I found, has been amazing for me. I do 20 minutes twice a day. But if you find that you can't sit still and you don't like to meditate, you can do walking meditation. Believe it or not, there's walking meditation, just walk in nature. And no headsets or anything, head or earbuds, just walking in nature, listening to, what's around you and being more mindful. That really helps with calming the system down. Taking a walk helps as well. So it's like a two-in-one type thing. You can also do journaling. Journaling, I find really, really is very, very helpful, especially if you struggle with sleep, because stress really impacts sleep quite a bit. Because if you've noticed, when you lay down in bed, now all of a sudden you have all the worries going on in your brain and you can't get to sleep. Or you'll wake up in the middle of the night, right? And then you can't get back to sleep. And I will say journaling is a huge relief. And you'll actually physically feel that relief after you finish writing in your journal. So that's another suggestion is journaling. And number three, deep breathing. Deep breathing is amazing, and you can do it anywhere. You can do it at your desk if you have an office job. You can do it when you're driving, like because you don't have to close your eyes, but just that deep breathing exercise. There are so many different types of deep breathing. And there's actually a whole little like field called breath work specialists and or guides, and they help people with different types of deep breathing exercises. But I would just say, just get started
Mm,
with deep breathing. You can go to YouTube and find some ways to do it, or just do it on your own. It's really just like inhaling and holding for a few seconds and exhaling, and then wait a few seconds and then do that cycle over and over again. And again, you can do it throughout the day, and that'll help to center you again.
yes. And so what does this have to do with the gut? So
Yeah.
a lot of it is understanding the gut brain connection, the
Mhm.
connection to what's called your vagus nerve. Another really simple thing that I do, so I do, because of the mold toxicity, I do a lot of things for detoxification. So I do daily lymphatic drainage massage, but part of that, at the end of that, is I'm my dog thinks it's hilarious. She comes in like, "What is that noise?" But I'm standing with my arms and I'm, replicating. And I do have a mini trampoline or a rebounder too. So you can do it on a rebounder. But even if you don't have a rebounder, you can just bounce up and down on the floor and shake out your arms. But here's the key with the vagus nerve is actually
Yeah.
humming
Yes.
you're doing it, right?
Yes.
So that's resetting your vagus nerve, calming things down. When you
Mhm.
calm down the stress, you calm down your gut, you calm down the inflammation, you improve your immune system, right? So
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love that connection. Most people don't connect those dots. Okay,
Mhm.
so stress, huge component. Obviously, we're going to give honorable mention to diet. And as a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and certified diabetes educator, I can't get off one live without at least mentioning diet, um, because it's important, right? So
Mhm.
some simple things like you don't need to go on a diet, right? The first three letters in diet are die. We don't want to do that. But one thing I will say is choose colorful food. And if you do have some GI problems, when we say colorful food, sometimes too many fruits and vegetables can be irritating, especially the vegetables, the roughage, if you will.
Mhm.
So if you do have some sensitivities, cook your vegetables, right? They make them a little bit easier to digest. So if you're dealing with gut problems already, make sure to cook your vegetables. You don't need to overcook them. Just cooking breaks down the food enough so that your body is able to better digest them. If you're not dealing with any gut problems per se, and you just want to keep your gut healthy, eating plenty of raw stuff is just fine. Also include fermented foods, right? Fermented sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, if it's not loaded with sugar, right? You want to
Mhm.
be careful on that. Different pre and probiotic type drinks that are out there. Again, look for the sugar. But even, I mean, it sounds crazy, but one of my favorite things to eat is pickled vegetables. I pickle them myself, but you don't have to. You can buy a good organic brand of pickled vegetables and just have a little. I use these little ramekins. I have a little ramekin. I
Mhm.
had some for lunch. I
Mhm.
made some pickled peppers, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. And so I had a little ramekin full of pickled peppers, but try to include at least one source of a fermented food each day or a fermented beverage, and that's really good for most people. Again, if you're dealing with some digestive issues currently, easing into the fermented stuff may be something you need to do, or not going overboard with that. Let's see what else. Making sure you have plenty of protein, right? So
Mhm.
protein is very easy on the gut. It can be hard on the kidneys in large quantities. So we don't want to
Mhm.
overdo it. We're saying, 30, 35 grams of protein per meal, and not snacking all day long, because you need to give your gut some rest. And if you're
Yes.
constantly digesting food, there's no rest going on, right? So little bouts of time between meals also is important for better regulating your blood sugar. When your blood sugar is high all the time, you have more inflammation, you have more insulin release, you have all kinds of problems. So keeping that blood sugar well controlled means not eating all day long, right? So, and we'll share a couple of tools that can help toward the end with not eating all day long, because eating all day long affects your gut health. And once upon a time, we used to say, eat small, more frequent meals. And if you have certain medical conditions, you may need to do that. So we're speaking to the masses. We're
Mhm.
speaking to people that are really just trying to optimize their gut health. So it's about what you put in, but also about what you don't put in, right? So leaving some windows of fasting, doing some fasting overnight. Doesn't need to be a full day fast, although those are very beneficial. And programs like Prolon and other fasting, our metabolic reset, our 5 day drop, those are all really helpful. But even if you start with a version of intermittent fasting, let's say you finish eating at 8 p.m. and you don't eat your breakfast until 10 a.m., right? So there's a window of fasting there that you're giving your gut time to rest and rejuvenate, because the cells in your digestive tract, they need to rejuvenate too. They don't need to be constantly bombarded with food. Making sure that you have, good supplementation obviously is so key. And it's different than what we would recommend for a 25-year-old. Your 25-year-olds, and not to, knock on 25-year-olds, but their guts are more resilient. They might be taking a probiotic, but even when it comes to probiotics, there are a lot of strains that are well studied. There are some that, just because it has more strains doesn't make it a better probiotic, right? There's
Mhm.
also prebiotics and probiotics. So I know, Jeannie, you use a trebiotic, as do I. I just happen to be out of it right now. Talk to
Mhm.
us about the trebiotic a little bit.
I like the fact that not only is it pre and probiotic, but it also has a postbiotic, which not too many people talk about. Um, so it's got all three. And I always say it's a 3-in-1.
Mhm.
Um, this one is actually brand new. Oh no, it's not. It's opened. But I
Like
just wanted
you
to
have
show
like
you.
tons of everything, right?
No, it's open. But
Hold it
this
up
is
to
like
the
little
screen. Can you
beads.
hold it up a little closer so we can see it?
There
Okay,
we
it
go.
looks like coffee grounds.
Oh,
There
can you
you go.
see that?
Perfect.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so, we actually have chocolate too. I forgot I should have brought it. We have chocolate tray biotic as well.
my favorite.
Yeah, so good. But yeah, it's a 3-in-1. It's got all 3, the pre, pro, and post.
So prebiotics, just for a little education around what the difference is, because sometimes people say, well, do I need all three? Like, which one is the priority, right? The answer is they're all a priority. A
Mhm.
prebiotic is the food, very important for the probiotic. The probiotic is what populates your gut with those healthy microorganisms. And there are some that are more researched than others. So obviously, it's important to find a good probiotic that has those good researched beneficial strains of bacteria. And then the postbiotic, in my opinion, is the most important one. The postbiotic is essentially, and this sounds really gross, but the waste product that comes from the pre and the postbiotic, or excuse me, the pre and the pre and the pro, like say that 10 times fast. Pre, pro, post. The pre and the pro makes a waste called a post. And the postbiotic is actually very important for helping your body produce more what we call short chain fatty acids. And short chain fatty acids are incredibly important for the health of your gut lining. Let me just rabbit trail on this for a second because some of these other things we're going to talk about reflect on the gut lining and its importance. So, if you think about your digestive tract as a doctor friend of mine once called it, the skin within, right? So we want our skin on the outside to glow and be nourished and hydrated and pretty and lovely and all that. Same thing for our gut. So we want things that are going to give us a good, smooth, I don't want to say thick, but not full of holes, gut lining, right? Not a gut lining that's leaky. You've probably heard of leaky gut. Leaky gut is not something you want to experience because what that means is that the integrity of your gut lining is not smooth. It's got microscopic holes, and your food, your pharmaceuticals, toxins, everything that comes through the body begins to leach out into the bloodstream, which makes you really sick. It causes a lot of systemic problems. So there again, another relationship between the gut and the rest of the body. It's not just the gut. Like this is all one superhighway, guys. This is not like this part of the body and that part of the body. It's all related. And that's why, not to knock on the medical community, but if you notice, every specialist is some type of an ologist, right? The cardiologist, the gastroenterologist, the immunologist, the ologist, dermatologist, right? They're all an ologist of some sort. And while they have their place, they're only going to talk to you about that one thing. If you go to the perfect example, I saw my asthma and allergy doctor recently, and I asked him a question about something, and he said, I need to have you go to the primary care for that. He couldn't even answer the question because it was out of his little wheelhouse, right? And there is a time and a place for those wheelhouses. But when we're talking about gut health, we're talking about the whole body being connected. It's not just your gut.
Right.
So the health of your gut lining is extremely important because if you do not have a healthy gut lining, you're not absorbing your food and your supplements. And as I always tell my clients, it's not what you take that matters, it's what your body absorbs. Because if you're not absorbing it, you're flushing it down the toilet, literally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Think about it. Like you don't absorb corn. Why? You always see corn in the toilet.
Yeah.
So, it's the same kind of thing. You want to make sure that the health of your gut lining is there. And the postbiotic, that's its job, is to maintain that integrity of your gut lining. But there's also another really couple of key ways that you can maintain the integrity of the gut lining. One is my very favorite. And if you stay till the end, we've got some exciting news about this one. Liquid collagen, which you guys have heard me talk about. Probably I've got a weird glare. Talk about at nauseum sometimes. And we're like, does she ever shut up about the collagen? And the answer is no. It literally changed my life from head to toe. This is just one of our formulas. We have 6 different formulas. They're all amazing. It just depends on a person's goals. But collagen in the right form, not the powdered cheap stuff, because the powdered cheap stuff, I know it costs a lot less. And I'm very open with saying that this costs more. But the most expensive supplement you buy is the one that doesn't work and you get no results from and you flush money down the toilet. That's expensive.
Right.
This does incredible things for your hair, skin, nails, joints, etc. But what most people don't know is that collagen is one of the most important things you can do for the health of your gut lining. And if your gut lining is not healthy, none of the other stuff matters.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what kind of diet you're on. It doesn't matter what supplement you take. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Right. So if you leave this live with no recollection of anything we said, other than the fact that I need a healthy gut lining, we've done our job today. Right.
Yeah.
So very important to have collagen in your wheelhouse for your gut lining. All right. Tell us about a couple other things, Jeannie. What else you got there?
So I also have, let's see. So the tree biotic I talked about. We
Mhm.
also have a probiotic, believe it or not, we just have a probiotic, and this one's brand new. But if you decide like you don't want the prebiotic for whatever reason, um, you can take one of these. And these are great to travel with, actually. So if you
Mhm.
travel quite a bit, you can take these. Although the prebiotic, we actually have travel packs for these too.
Yeah,
This tastes like melon, and it's great to have. I take both. Believe it or not, I use both.
me too. And the probiotic has more strains of bacteria in it, so you can use them together. And there
Yeah.
are some people that just do not do well with prebiotics because they have too, unlike it's like that same person that can't eat the raw vegetables.
Mhm.
They tend to struggle with fermented foods and with prebiotic fiber. And if that's you, obviously we have an alternative for that.
Right.
And then a couple other things. So we have a new product that is actually very interesting. It's got a lot of different mechanisms of action, and it's definitely important for maintaining lean muscle mass and helps with weight loss and all these things. But it's a product called Sculpt. And what I love about this is it has L-glutamine in it. And L-glutamine, if you have a leaky gut or are kind of trending in that direction, meaning like you have a lot of digestive issues, L-glutamine is also very key for the health of your gut lining. So I love this product for that, and it helps with a lot of other things as well too. But
Mhm.
for the purposes of gut conversation, L-glutamine is super, super important. And
Yeah.
then, of course, last but not least, we've done a lot of conversation over the last couple of weeks about the importance of increasing GLP-1 levels. What does that have to do with the gut, right? So GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide. It is actually a hormone that is produced in the gut. And when you're young, Jeannie, you have a lot of what?
You have a lot of GLP-1s in
Mhm.
your gut,
And
and
if
some
you're
in the brain too.
thin, you
Mhm.
have a lot of GLP-1 in your gut.
Mhm.
But when we look at America today, or the world, and well, we'll just talk about America. Actually, we'll just leave it at America. We tend to have a lot of gut problems. We
Mhm.
tend to have an aging population, and we tend to have an overweight population. So all
Yeah.
three of those means your body produces less GLP-1. So GLP-1 we know is important for weight loss, and that's not what we're talking about today, but that's where you hear that conversation. Well, a lot of the weight loss medications, the shots that people are doing, the reason people are having such great results is because it's giving their body more GLP-1. So that's a hormone that we want more of as we age because we want to
Mhm.
preserve the health of our guts. So what can we do if we don't want to do shots? There's a new product on the market. It is unlike anything else out there. I mean, I'm just blown away by the science on this stuff.
Me too.
Herb.
Yeah.
And I love that it's not a pill, don't you, Jeannie?
I love it. I just love that it's a drink, it tastes good, and it's so effective.
And notice none of the things that we talked about today are pills that you have to choke down.
Right.
Just saying. I
Yeah.
mean, if you like pills, go for it. But like I gag on them.
Yeah.
This is actually a very unique product. It's a proprietary blend of many different ingredients, but there are a couple of key
Mhm.
things and a couple of, you know, important things to know about this. So, how does this relate to gut health? So, curb, because there is a specific strain of prebiotic fiber in here, amongst a couple other ingredients that, we don't have time to go into all of it today, but when you use curb, what it does is it helps to increase two very well-studied key strains of bacteria in your gut that, yes, help with weight loss, but are also longevity and health of your gut very important. And that's bifidobacterium and Akkermansia. So when you use curb, we increase in the gut those two strains of bacteria. It can take several months. Like this isn't something you take for a week and all of a sudden, oh, I've got like this beautiful garden of Akkermansia in my gut. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
I was listening to a doctor talk and she was saying that, 90 days is a good time frame to really assess some great improvements in your gut health.
Yeah.
And so when you increase those two strains of bacteria, you increase GLP-1 production, meaning your body starts to produce more on its own. I don't know about you, but I'd rather have my body doing it than the artificial sources of GLP-1.
I know, right? I'd much rather have my body make its own GLP-1.
Yeah. So this
Yeah.
is just a biohack for weight loss, but also for gut health. Because when your gut is better functioning,
Mhm.
if your goal is to lose weight, you're going to release the weight. If your gut's a disaster, you're not going to release the weight because it's inflamed. When you have a ton of inflammation, forget losing weight. And then GLP-1 is a hormone. So
Mhm.
women over 40 and men too, but we're talking to women today. Women over 40, our hormones change, and not just the female hormones, your cortisol, your DHEA, your melatonin, your GLP-1.
Right. All of it.
So curb, super important piece of the puzzle as well too. So
Mhm.
I'm just totally nerding on the science of this one because
Me
that's
too.
my background as a
Yeah.
dietitian and Jeannie as an exercise physiologist. Show us the science, right? And most
Yeah.
people just want to know how's it work and what's it going to do for me. But it's pretty amazing. And, so if you've got weight loss goals, gut health goals, goals to decrease
Mhm.
inflammation, all of it, you definitely want some curb in your life.
Yes. Yes. And it helps with blood sugar
Yep.
balance,
Insulin.
cravings. That's a big one is cravings. I mean, because of our hormonal changes, we start to get cravings in the middle of the day, in the evenings, and this helps to, cut that out so that we're sticking to that 3 meal a day that we should be doing,
Right.
And
Because
that's great for the gut.
exactly. What did I say earlier? Right? When you're eating constantly, you're not
Mhm,
supporting your gut. So we're giving
mhm,
you a tool so that you don't eat constantly. As a matter of fact, when we get off this live, I will be taking my curb. I take it between lunch and dinner, but you can also take it, if you tend to overeat at dinner or lunch or breakfast, wherever you tend to overeat, you can also take it 30 minutes before your meal. It's a peach
yeah,
mango. It's really good.
it
But it
is.
really does, like, I was talking to one of our team members the other day. I said, the very first day, day number 1, I noticed, like, I had 0 cravings,
Mm,
0.
mhm. Yeah, I
Sometimes
like
I
to
have to
mix
remind
that.
myself to eat.
I like to mix the 2 together.
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly do that.
It tastes delicious.
Yeah, you can certainly do that, depending on what your goals are, right? But
Mhm.
it's definitely a good tool, as I always say, in the anti-aging toolbox, because that's what we're here to share is those things.
Yes.
So I know we talked about a lot of different things, but hopefully we've given you some strategies to maximize your gut
Sonia,
health.
you're freezing.
How are you? Are we
Oh,
back now? Can you hear me?
yep, I can hear you now.
Yeah, you were freezing before too. So you know what? Technology's just not on our side today, but hopefully you guys got the message because
Yes.
we shared a lot of good nuggets. And if you take away a couple key things here, we know that you're going to better your health. So would love to know down in the comments below, what is one key takeaway from our message today that you think you can utilize to improve your gut health? Would love to hear from you guys. And last but not least, Jeannie, we have a special promo that hits
Yeah.
tomorrow. Tell everybody about it.
So that bottle that Sonia has in her hand is a sport collagen. And I don't think we went into detail about sports. But we have actually different formulas of our collagen, which I think is amazing because it's based on your goals and what you're trying to accomplish with your health and wellness. Sport is great if you're very active. I've had a lot of runners, ask me about it. It's great for if you're an athlete or if you just love working out, you want to help your joints more. So that's like the major focus of it. We get it for free tomorrow if you make a purchase of I think it's 150 or more, and you get a bottle
Of
of sport
anything,
for free.
right? So any product.
Anything. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. If you buy anything on the store for 150 or more, you get a free bottle of sport.
And this is like an $80 value for free.
Yeah.
But, the other thing to think about too is, so even if you are not an athlete, you can still use this product. I use this product and, I work out. I'm not in this phase of life right now because I'm still fighting through overcoming mold toxicity. So I'm not killing it in the gym right now, but that's okay.
Mhm.
This actually has branched chain amino acids in it, which actually are good for muscle preservation as well too.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's got the same great collagen, hyaluronic acid, chondroitin sulfate that's good for your hair, skin, nails, joints, gut health,
Mhm.
and it's free tomorrow
Yep.
through the 19th. So it's just 3 days. So if you guys would like any info, not only on the products that we've shared, but also the promo, just drop info in the comments, and either Jeannie or I will reach out to you. If you are like nervous to comment, you can certainly send us a message as well too. And we are live in a lot of different places. So, in some places it might be easier to communicate than others. And so just make sure to reach out, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because these are first come, first serve. When they're gone, they're gone.
Yep.
And
And we tend to run out quick,
we
and
do
that is a truth right there.
sell a lot of product, and
Yes.
there's a reason for that, not just because we're salespeople, but because these products truly change people's lives.
Mhm.
And I know Jeannie too, as health professionals, do not back or
Mhm.
talk about any product that is not backed by legitimate science and has
Yep.
not transformed thousands of people's lives, including our own.
Absolutely. Yep.
So there you have it.
Very
Hope you
true.
guys found value in this. If you did, you can share this broadcast. We're live all over the place in public places, so you can feel free to share this with other people. And thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you again next week. Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.